So our table inside the browser is looking pretty darn good, but of course the formatting is incomplete. We've gone and created those class rules, but of course now we need to go and apply the class rules to the table contents. So let's go and get the job done here. So flip back over to your code. And of course, in some of the previous exercises, I was discussing the application of class rules or class selectors to your table content. Of course, we can apply classes to rows and to cells and of course to the overall table itself as well. So let's go and see what we can do here. I'm going to scroll down into my table. And the first thing that I want to do is I want to look for new admissions. He should be a little bit of the ways down into your table there. Look for new admissions. And what I want to do is I want to format the entire new admissions row. So in other words, I'm looking for new admissions, right? And then I'm going to look for the table row that encompasses the new admissions content. And it's this row that I'm actually going to apply one of our new class rules to. So what I'm going to do is drop my cursor into the opening tr tag, throw in a space, type in class equals, and then in quotes, I'm going to go and specify the class rule that I want to use. And in my case, it's going to be alt, that alt rule that you and I created. Now, if you want to see what this actually looks like, go ahead and save your work and flip back over to your browser and refresh. And there we go. There's that new formatting now applied to the entire row, of course, right? To all three cells inside that row, which is great. Let's go and do the same thing for discharges. Let's go and do that. So I'm going to flip back over to my code, of course. I'm going to scroll down inside all this table code here, and I'm going to look for discharges. And then, of course, I'm looking for the table row, the outermost container on this object. And that's what I want to apply the class rule to. Again, harking back to containers inside containers, right? So look for your opening tr tag, throw in your class equals, and then in quotes, the name of the class rule, which of course is alt. And let's go and double check our work. There we go. So things are looking even better here, which is wonderful. Now, what else? Well, we have a right cells class rule that we created as well. I'm going to go and apply that to current caseload, to new admissions, and also to discharges, the actual cells themselves. So you just saw how we can apply a class selector to a row. Let's go and apply a class selector now to a specific cell or a TD. So I'm going to scroll up here inside my code. I'm going to look for current caseload. And rather than applying this class rule to the row, I'm going to apply it to the cell. So drop in your cursor, class equals, and then in quotes, of course, we called ours right cells, didn't we? Now, just to speed things up here a little bit, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this code that I just typed in, I'm going to grab it all, and I'm going to copy it. And then what I will do is I'll scroll down here, I'm going to look for new admissions. There he is. And I'm going to paste him into the cell that contains that content, new admissions. And then I'll scroll down just a little bit more, and I'll look for discharges. Same story. I'm just going to go ahead and paste, just like that. Okay, let's go and check our work, save, and back over to the browser and refresh. There we go. So now current caseload, new admissions, and discharges now aligned to the right, which is wonderful. So there you go. There's how you can apply your class rules to rows and also tables as well. And you know, something else comes to mind here. Of course, we could make use of the class rules that you and I created specifically for this table, alt and right cells. But of course, if I scroll further up into my internal style sheet, we have all sorts of different rules that we've created here. So maybe I want to make use of blue type inside this table, or maybe highlight, which you saw an example of earlier, or maybe emphasis or bold. Now, maybe what I'll do is I'll take my bold and I'll apply that to my table. Maybe I decide that all of the numeric values inside my table should all be bold. Well, rather than going and creating another bold class selector, I've already got one here, so I may as well go and simply reuse it. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to scroll all the way down into my table code. I'm going to look for the first numeric value, which happens to be underneath current caseload. There he is, right there. And then all I would do is simply apply the class called bold, now I used uppercase B, bold, onto that numeric cell. And then once again, what I'll do, just to speed things up here, is I will grab all of the code there and copy it and simply paste it down. Look for the next numeric value and simply paste that code down all the way through my entire table, something like this. So you can always reuse, and I find myself doing this all the time, reusing class rules that I've created previously. I'm going to wind up using that formatting inside new content that I'm adding onto my page. There's a whole bunch of different techniques for creating a modern looking formatted table.